Hi, today we're going to take a look at the Fluke 101, the cheapest Fluke you can get. This thing you can actually get for $42 on Amazon, or about 72 Australian bucks is the cheapest street price I can find it here in Australia. So is it any good? Like, can you get a genuine Fluke that's actually handy and performs well for like 40 odd bucks? Let's find out. Now, there's nothing new here. The Fluke 100 series dates back to 2013, so it's basically 10 years old now, and oh yeah, looks genuine. Look at that. I've got the holographic sticker and everything. Not that there are any fake Flukes out there, because they'll hammer you down pretty quick if you try. Anyway, this one is actually built in China, and the first made in China Fluke multimeter was the Fluke 19, and that was back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and that was incredible bang per buck, but it was a complete and utter flop. Try and find a working Fluke 19 these days, they're as rare as hen's teeth. So yeah, that was a failure. But since then, Fluke haven't made a dud meter since the Fluke 19. But that was an experiment to see if they could produce a lower cost meter for the Asia Pacific market, and it was only sold in Australia and some parts of Asia as well. Anyway, we're here for the Fluke 101. Let's check out this bad boy. It is available in a Fluke 107 version as well, which does actually have a 10 amp range, which this one doesn't measure current at all, but it is bigger, I believe, and it's got the jacks in a different location. The box is a bit cruddy here, but anyway, I picked this up from Amazon Australia. It was the last one, and it was on special, so all you get are the probes and the Fluke 101 itself. And for the film aficionados, oh, look at that. First thing you notice is that this thing is incredibly small. It's a tiny pocket-sized meter, and you can see where Zotac got their inspiration from. It's exactly the same size as the ANENG, but they just rebadge it. This is actually a Zoe or a Zotac ANENG AN8008, which I don't think is available anymore. But anyway, I did a shootout of this. This is basically a $20 class instrument, and it's really good. But basically, exactly the same form factor, except it can measure current, and you've got the jacks on the top as opposed to the jacks on the bottom here on the Fluke. Now, this won't be a shootout between these two, but suffice it to say, if you want bang per buck, this at 20 bucks just absolutely blows the Fluke away. But we're not here to do that. We're here to look at whether or not this Fluke is any good. Now, the first thing you notice is that, you know, I expected the screen to be a bit bigger based on the photos, and maybe a little bit brighter as well, but I don't know, is that they've photoshopped that or something? Anyway, the digits could have been bigger on this. They're only 12 millimeters high, so it's a little bit disappointing, but the screen is quite usable. It is fairly reflective, but you know, it's a decent screen. I've seen better, but you know, no worries. And the protection on this thing, no problem whatsoever. Anyway, let's get the AvE Hammer here, and no worries. Oh, it's beat up already. What? No, it just buffed out. No worries. Look at that. Oh, like I bought one. And this really does feel like a high quality Fluke. It feels really rigid like this, that you can throw the thing around and it's like it's really going to survive practically anything you throw at it. There's no creepage in that at all, and the range switch feels absolutely fantastic. Nice indent, and you can do it with your thumb as well. And I believe that Joe Smith has actually tested the range switch on this one, I think, and it's one of the best performing range switches of any meter on the market, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, look at the back here. They've got a beautiful little battery half turn thing here for the battery, and let's get that out. There you go. We've got the two AAAs in there, but that is a very nice little battery compartment. I really like that. Feels like a top quality bit of Fluke kit. And you've got to remember, this is like 42 Yankee bucks on Amazon. You know, street price. Unbelievable. And you do get the standard Fluke TL75 probes, and they're PVC, and they're like their lowest quality probes. Some people like them, but no, you know, a nice set of good high quality silicon leads would be the go, but for the price, but they are genuine Fluke leads, so no worries. So let's turn it on. So let's do a continuity tester. One of the things you're going to be wanting just a handy little meter like this for is the continuity tester, and it's missing a few scratches there, but is that the probes? Let's try gold-plated pair. All right, we've got the gold-plated Brymans. A little bit better, but it could be quicker. It's not the fastest, but it is a latch-in continuity tester, and it's a reasonable sound level. So yeah, you're probably an 8 out of 10, maybe. I don't even know why they bother with the manual. I mean, it doesn't even have the specs in it. I mean, that's basically, like that's it, you know? It meets EMC standards and, well, that's it. Limited, like, why? So it doesn't even have the specs on the back here. It's just got range, so it is 6,000 count, except on ohms it's only 4,000 count on there. And of course there is no current, so it's only voltage, ohms, continuity, capacitance, and frequency, and that's it. And it's not true RMS, of course. It is average responding, but they do give basic DC accuracy of 0.5% here. But that's what you're buying. You're buying a 0.5%, 6,000 count little pocket multimeter that's built like a brick dunny. It really is. And it'll probably last you a lifetime, and it's relatively cheap. So it's not going to be your everyday use meter. If you're going to use it every day for electronics or electrical, for example, electricians, they have like the 117. They have the 110 series. You wouldn't be getting this. And of course, if you want something more feature packed and you want a minimum cost, of course, you'd go for something like one of these Zotecs. There's a whole bunch of Zotecs all getting rebadged as ANENG and other brands as well, and they're dirt cheap, and they're going to absolutely blow this away. I mean, just look at the size of the digits there and the functionality of this thing. Anyway, I've done a full review of that. I'll link that one in. Now, of course, this is triple the price of one of those cheapies, but does it feel like triple the price? Yes, it does. And of course, it's a genuine Fluke. It's going to have safety standards equivalent to any Fluke, so we're talking 600 volt Cat 3 here. Even though Fluke don't get their meters UL certified, they do their own in-house certification. Fluke are, of course, Fluke. They're completely trustworthy. So, and of course, this meets the EMC and ESD standards as well, I believe. And yeah, even though it's made in China, this feels absolutely fantastic. Feature-wise here, you haven't got much. You've got AC volts, which is not even true RMS, so it's only average responding. You've got your DC volts range. Millivolts is curiously only AC. It doesn't, you cannot do DC. It doesn't select DC at all, okay? So there's no, I don't know why that limitation exists. Maybe just they're saving a few cents in the path of the chipset or something. I'm sure the chipset is capable of millivolts DC. Why they don't have it, I don't know. But of course, you've got the ohms up to 40 meg. You've got your continuity and your diode test as well. Diode test, can we light up a white LED here? We can. It does actually come on very low, but it's above the voltage threshold here. Let's test that. Yeah, 2.43 volts compliance voltage, but hey, it's powered from 2 AAAs. No worries. And it's got capacitance range, 40 puff offset here, and no, it doesn't have any zero null either. But, you know, you don't get that on the low-end Zotec either, so no worries. So we'll plug in my reference capacitor here, 10 nanofarads, and that's bang on, including the offset there. So, yeah, spot on. Okay, let's measure 1,000 mic cap here, 872 over here. Wow, that actually took a while to come up. So 917... but that's all right. Let's do that again. Check out how long that takes. So it's not the best thing out there. For like you would think that you haven't even got that connected at all, but it eventually jumps up there, 920. And compare that with my Fluke 87 over here, because they measure differently. Oh yeah, they're 900. There you go. Because they're different measurement techniques, we won't go into that. But you know, it's okay. As for accuracy on the ohms range, that is bang on to 10k there, and well, you know, pretty close. Plus, I'm not going to quibble over plus minus one digit, and that is absolutely bang on over there as well. Awesome. Now it does actually have hold here, but this is not Fluke's a patented touch hold. If we go over here like this, it's not the touch hold. Ah, bummer. Why? Well, I can tell you why. It's because they're probably not using their own chipset. They're just using off-the-shelf Multimeter chipset, and it doesn't have Fluke's touch hold technology. Whereas over here, we can turn on AutoHold like that, and boom, like that. Bang on, like that. So, that's so disappointing, but, you know, what do you want for the price, I guess? All right, let's use my AC voltage standard here, and what have I currently got? It's already set to 240. Okay, let's operate it on 240 volts. It takes a while for this thing to settle until it locks in, but that is bang on to one least significant digit. And if we do the same with 600 volts there, 601, no worries. So can it survive an overload? And by the way, you do get that little lightning over voltage warning there, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to stress this up to the maximum. And yes, this bad boy goes to 11.
Very special because if you can see, the numbers all go to 11. Look, right across the board.
So let's do 1200 volts AC, shall we? Will the magic smoke escape? Obviously, it won't measure that, but no, it's already there. It's already operating. There you go. There you go. That's 1200 volts AC, and magic smoke isn't escaping, so no worries. Well, let's turn it back down, shall we? To say 500, that'll be 600 volts, and it survived just fine. No worries. AC millivolt range, got it set to 600 millivolts. We're getting 601. I'm not going to quibble about that. And the same at 1 kilohertz here. It's a little bit under, but well within spec, and unfortunately this can't go higher. Well, could if external. Meh, whatever. It's good enough. And my DC volt standard, yep, bang on. 1 volt, bang on. 100 millivolts, bang on. Okay, can it survive 1200 volts AC on the ohms range? Well, only one way. Oh, no, it's overloading. Okay, so it's loading. So obviously the front end protection's kicking in, and it's overloading. Let's wind that down. Wind that down to 600 volts. No, it still kicks in, as you'd expect. And 100 volts, there you go, 100 volts AC. So if we get mains, like 240, for example, it doesn't trip that. So 240 volts mains, no problem. And if we switch that back like that, so live switch in there, but of course you expect it to change a bit because the internal protection stuff has actually heated up due to that overload, so you need time to settle, but that's settling back down, and that works absolutely bang on. Look at that. And the auto ranging speed on ohms, it's reasonable. What I'm doing here is just sweeping it through from 0 to about 150 megahertz or something to see if there's any common mode problems on the input, and nope, because I've seen this. This is on their little thing on the EEVblog forum. Some meters, in particular the Keysight, seems to be the worst in this regard. That yeah, you can get at the higher frequencies, you can get a common mode problem, but nothing here. All right, as for robustness, oops, oops, oops. Oops. Oh, flat on its face, right on the rotary switch. Whoa! Bounces nice. And of course that survived the drop-in and all the overload and everything just fine. And that's what you'd expect from a Fluke. It's built like a brick dunny, and it feels like a quality bit of kit. Absolutely fantastic, no worries. And it does have some power on options. You do the hold here, and it does the firmware version and tells you it's the Fluke 101. And the yellow button here switches the auto power off, but that's it. So unfortunately, yeah, there's no relative button, there's no manual range overhold, so it's just always auto range here. It's a very limited meter, but you've got to remember this is not your everyday use meter, so it doesn't need to be feature packed. Just needs to measure volts, ohms, diode, calibration seal, huh? Oh, we can fix that. Is there a screw in there? No, it's a port. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Whoa, play to your heart's content. Is that a firmware programming port as well? Anyway, it looks like you can probably put it into programming mode with that switch there, perhaps. Anyway, it's designed for automated production calibration. So let's open this up. These are stiff as, and no metal threaded inserts, but you wouldn't expect it at this price point. But it's really solid. But Fluke have mastered the art of metal into plastic studs. So all their meters have had those. Well, it's not just going to fall open. I'm going to have to get the spudger. Can't get in there. Get the knife in there. Whoa, Here you go. It looks like the front cover comes off. Ta-da! We're in like Flynn. No components on the top side. I do like how the right angle screws just go into your banana jacks like that. That's really nice. Check out the high voltage isolation slots. Really very nice. I like that they've physically put that in so you can't goof it when you put it, you know you've got the alignment when you put it back on. And yeah, they're just the buttons. No worries. And the range switch is integrated with that front case, so it's not going to come off. And you'll notice the side of the case like this has got go down into deep grooves down here for your blast protection all the way around. Very nice indeed. And that board's just not going to fall out either. And this helps that, like, even that bottom, even with the top of that case off, I can barely twist this thing. Wow, that is just solid as. I'm having a hard time getting these screws off. They are Loctited. There you go. They've got a star washer on them. Yeah, you can see the Loctite down there. All right, we've got all the screws out now. And oh yeah, hang on. Before I flip that over, let's just marvel at their solution for the banana jacks here. Look at that. Just a solid machined piece like that with the screw terminals in them. That is really, really nice with that insert with extra rigidity built into the plastic case down there. Oh, I'm really liking that. I'm thoroughly impressed. The contacts are integral with the case there, and did I snap something off there? Maybe that looks snapped off. I'm not sure. Anyway, flip it over. Oh, beautiful minimalist design. Look at this. Got a chip on board blob here. Optional different package for that. What that chip is, I don't know, but it'll be one of the off-the-shelf jobbies, and it's a single chip solution. So that's doing everything. It's driving the screen as well, is it? Well, let's flip that over and find out. It's just a zebra strip there. You can see there's absolutely nothing under that. So it is a genuine single chip solution. So we can whack that back in. Got some plastic on the bottom there. So anyway, that does go in there nicely. Let's just put the LCD back on. I really like the tight fit in there, and they've got alignment holes as well. And that all goes together very nicely. Once again, it's there's a lot of engineering that's gone into this, a lot of pride, and yeah, you're paying for quality and you're getting it. And the PCB material itself looks like the high quality Fluke PCB material. It's really hard to convey on camera, but it looks like a top quality FR4 board. Anyway, you can see they've got some grease in there on the contacts, which you'd expect, of course. Anyway, very nice implementation. Anyway, that looks like a big-ass fusible resistor there, as is common in Flukes, in series with the PTC there. And then you've got the two input MOVs. We've got our AC coupling cap there. And we've got another high-voltage input resistor here, and then a high voltage series array up here. Of course, each one's only like a couple of 100 volts, but you whack enough of them in series and no worries, you can get a high voltage resistor that way. And of course, there's nothing to go wrong with this. The great thing about this is that, as you saw in the overload testing, it's going to actually perform really well because I'm sure it meets its CAT ratings, no problems whatsoever, and the clearance and the creepage on the traces looks absolutely fantastic. So very happy with that. And I expected that other chip to be an E² Prom, and indeed it is, 24C something or other. So yeah, that's all she wrote. I mean, you know, there's a couple of other transistors in there. Well, there's one. Is that just driving the buzzer? And that's it. I mean, we've got a crystal and a bunch of passives, but that's all she wrote, really. And we've got more input protection diodes there, but that's about all she wrote. So is the voltage reference internal? And we've got our battery terminals here. There you go. Input fuse there, very nice, and reverse diode protection there. And that'd be the regulator. Of course, the one thing you won't find in a cheap meter like this is any sort of hybrid resistor divider network. You're just not going to get it. So, yeah, they're just using passive jobbies for that. Somewhere, most of those seem to be caps. Oh no, there we go. There's probably a divider array over there. But yeah, that is exactly what I expected in a top quality, like bottom end Fluke. I mean, that retails for, you know, $42 street price. I wonder what it costs them to actually make this. Not a lot, but you know, like they haven't skimped on the safety, and it's easier to do when you've only got the voltage input, of course, and of course you can make the smaller form factor, and you can put in all the creepage and clearance you want, and all the isolation slots and everything else, and that's just a very nice implementation. I really like. You can't fault that at all. Now, of course, one of the things with having a little pocket meter like this is, well, what do you do with these big clunking leads? Well, unfortunately, yeah, as I said, these are PVC jobbies, so obviously you'd like wrap them around like this and like have them like that, and maybe you'd have a little pouch for it or something like that. But, you know, I don't mind the leads on the bottom. And if you do have it down like that and you don't have the leads flipped over like that, then it can actually rock. But, like, there's nothing to, like, it's curved on the bottom, so, like, it does have these little feet on it, but, you know, it's going to slide around on the bench, and, like, it's got no tilting bail, of course, but it does have a magnetic hanger hook, and you can buy that as an optional extra, and that is a really enormous hook on there, so you could do it yourself. Ones for that as well, but it's designed as, I wouldn't call it a pocket meter, but, you know, they sort of do imply that it's, you know, pocketable, and sure enough, it can fit in the pocket, but with all the, you know, the big ass probes and everything, yeah, nah, it's not like the pocket meter shootout that I've done. But if you want a nice compact meter to throw in your glove box perhaps, or as a spare in your work bag or something, then it's a winner. Yeah, but ultimately they should have provided like straight leads coming out of there. I think the right angle ones, I don't know, you either like that or you don't. I think I'd prefer straight. And power consumption wise, at 3 volts, we're not even talking a milliamp there. So yeah, this thing's supposed to have a 200-hour nominal life. And well, at that sort of consumption, for a AAA, that's at 1.2 volts cutout, for example, that'd be more like, you know, you're pushing like 800 plus hours, something like that. So yeah, 200 hours I think is probably conservative. A little bit over a milliamp on the ohms range. Capacitance range, it's under millivolts. AC, it's 1.3, so it's highest there. Hertz, yeah. Okay, I'm just measuring 5 volts there, and now we can actually adjust the battery voltage, and we'll find out where the battery point is and see if it still reads good. Okay, 2.3, 2.28. Let's call that 2.3 volts. It comes on and comes off, so the hysteresis on that is quite nice. But yeah, it's still accurate when the low battery is on. Let's go, keep going down until it starts to come a guts up. And it just drops out. Whoa, that's actually really nice. So at a nominal like 1.15 volts per cell, you're really looking at, like, seriously, you're looking at 800 to even 1,000 hours here from alkalines. This is way over its 200-hour spec. I can't see how you could possibly get 200 hours. Okay, there's people who want to know, can you use lithium batteries in this? Well, they're going to be above 3 volts, so let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. 3.4, it's still working, so I'd say, yep, you can use. Yeah, no problems whatsoever. And the consumption's not going up, so nothing's clamping or doing anything like that. So, wow, I'm just going to keep going. 4 volts. You can have 2 volts per cell, and it's not a problem. And, well, yeah, it's starting to go up 1 milliamp there. Yeah, okay, yep, no worries. Lithiums, no problem. And standby mode there, if you happen to leave the thing on, you're only talking, 10, 15 microamps, something like that. That's not too bad. So their logo is smaller size, same quality. And yep, they've nailed it. It's smaller size, it's the same quality. Shame it doesn't have quite the features, but for the price point, you get what you get and you don't get upset. And I don't think you'd be upset if you own this. I think it'd last you a lifetime. So my verdict on this Fluke 101 multimeter, well, I like it. It's pretty good. And for if you can get it for $42 US, you are actually getting a genuine, robust little Fluke for that price. But yeah, it's not going to win any awards for, bang per buck features and stuff like that. Like, I'm really bummed that it doesn't have the proper AutoHold on here. That would have been excellent. Doesn't measure DC millivolts, but that's neither here nor there. The continuity tester is okay. It's not the best one out there, but it's adequate for the job, and it measures capacitance and measures frequency, but there's no temperature, there's no other fancy stuff, there's no relative mode, there's no manual range overhold, so it's very, plain vanilla type stuff. But if you want a genuine Fluke that'll probably still work in 20 years time, then it's worthy of consideration, I think. Like, something like this is not really a competitor. This is more of an electronics meter that you got to get a lot of bang per buck. It's better to compare it with something like another big name, which is Klein Tools here, this MM500. This is one I've taken through the mud run. So yeah, this one has been thoroughly abused, and it's a similar sort of thing. Like, it's got no manual ranging, it's got no relative, it's got no millivolt function and stuff like that. It's not true RMS, it's only average responding, but it's it just does. If you just want volts, ohms and continuity, then meters like these are something that you just throw in your toolbox, and you can really depend on these and expect them to work when you need them. But the cheaper ones you can get for a third the price, yeah, okay, but better bang per buck. But this is a real Fluke, and for the money, for $42 US, I think this is a nice win-in little meter here. So it's certainly worthy of consideration. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. As always, discuss down below and over on the EEVblog forum. Catch you next time.